Right now, as you listen to these words, something extraordinary is happening inside your body that you've never paid attention to. Every 18 seconds, your breath creates a microscopic gap, a moment of absolute silence that ancient masters called the 0 point. Science has now discovered this tiny pause triggers a cascade of neurochemical changes that can instantly reprogram your stress response. While you've been searching for complex solutions to anxiety and mental chaos, the most powerful portal to inner peace has been hiding in plain sight, embedded in the very rhythm that keeps you alive. This isn't about meditation or breathing exercises. This is about accessing a biological backdoor to your consciousness that most people never learn exists. But here's what's truly remarkable. The quality of this hidden pause determines whether you live in a state of chronic stress or profound calm. Before we continue, subscribe now to keep these videos coming, because only your support makes more content like this possible. So what exactly happens in this forgotten space between your breaths? You believe you know the simple rhythm of life. The steady inhale, the gentle exhale. A cycle so automatic, so fundamental, you have never questioned it. But between these two familiar movements, there exists a third secret place, a silent pause. Have you ever noticed it? It is a moment of absolute stillness, a gap in the fabric of time. This is not an absence, but a presence. It is a hidden realm, a mystical portal that the ancient masters discovered was the true destination. They understood that the secret was not in the breath itself, but in the profound silence that separates one cycle from the next. This is the 0 point. Think of the quiet that settles just before you drift into sleep, when the weight of the world dissolves and the mind lets go of its grip. That is the quality of this internal refuge. It is a void, but a fertile one, pregnant with potential. For centuries, seekers have journeyed here, into this empty space between the in-breath and the out-breath, to find the source of all things. The central question of their awakening, and now yours, becomes, what truly exists in this moment of nothingness? What power lies dormant in the space where breathing stops, just before it begins again? Within this pause is a key, a mechanism for profound transformation. It is the access point to the operating system of your consciousness, a place where you can begin to reprogram the patterns of your own mind. This is not merely an exercise in relaxation. It is a technique for a genuine spiritual awakening. The familiar, unconscious act of breathing is about to become your greatest tool, your most sacred map. You stand at the threshold of a dimension you have inhabited your entire life, but never truly explored. A journey into the silence awaits, and with it, the discovery of a power you never knew you possessed. The potential for a new way of being is held within that single silent moment. But before you can enter that silence, you must first recognize the prison that has been built around it. For most, the breath is not a conscious cycle of life. It is a frantic, shallow whisper, an unconscious habit that fuels the very anxiety you wish to escape. This is the root of your daily struggle. Pay attention now. Notice how your breathing is short, residing high in the chest. This is the rhythm of a mind on high alert, a pattern that feeds a constant loop of mental noise. Each clipped inhale pulls in agitation, and each hurried exhale pushes out a breath you never truly held. Your thoughts spiral, unanchored and chaotic, because their physical tether to the present moment, the deep, conscious breath, is frayed. This connection between breath and mind is not a metaphor. It is a biological and spiritual reality. An erratic breathing pattern mirrors and perpetuates a scattered state of consciousness. You are locked in a physiological feedback loop of stress. Modern neuroscience can map this process with precision, showing how shallow, rapid breathing keeps your nervous system in a constant state of overstimulation, a low-grade state of fight or flight. You feel perpetually on edge because your body is being told, breath by shallow breath that there is an imminent threat. The ancient masters, however, did not need brain scans to understand this truth. They observed that this unconscious breathing was a departure from one's true nature, a disconnection from the profound silence that is your birthright. They taught that to live with such a breath was to live in exile from the quiet sanctuary within. This simple, overlooked habit is automatic. Reactive breathing is the primary engine of your feeling of being overwhelmed. It is the invisible architect of your inner turmoil. The realization dawns that you are caught in a cycle you didn't even know you were perpetuating, creating a desperate hunger for a way to finally break free. And yet, the key to your freedom is not found in a more forceful inhale or a longer exhale. The escape from this prison is not in the breath, but between the breaths. It lies in that quiet, unassuming pause. This is the sacred space the ancient masters revered, the silent gateway where the frantic grip of the ego begins to soften. They understood that in this momentary stillness, you are not simply holding your breath. You are touching the void, the pure field of consciousness from which all thoughts arise. This is where the true alchemy of transformation occurs. In that brief moment of suspension, the endless cycle of thinking and reacting is interrupted. It is a momentary death of the ego, a return to the pristine state of pure awareness. Modern science now validates this ancient wisdom, showing that deliberately entering this pause sends a powerful signal of safety to your entire nervous system. It shifts you out of that chronic state of alert and into a state of deep rest and repair. This is not just relaxation. It is a profound opportunity to reprogram the very architecture of your mind. Within this empty space, you gain access to the deep-seated patterns that have run your life on autopilot. You can observe them without being controlled by them. The great surprise, the incredible revelation, is that this powerful portal to awakening is not something you must strive for. It is already here, happening thousands of times a day, completely ignored. This fraction of a second, this gap you have never noticed, holds the entire potential for your liberation. It is the fertile emptiness where the noise of the mind dissolves, leaving only clarity and presence. The constant chatter that fuels your anxiety cannot survive in this silence. The realization dawns that the most profound tool for inner peace is not an external secret to be found, but an internal rhythm to be rediscovered. A deep, resonant desire begins to stir within you, a desire to finally learn how to consciously inhabit this space and unlock the immense power it has held in waiting all along. The path into this sacred silence is not a vague hope. It is a precise technique, a sacred map with clear instructions. This is the ritual of the void, a simple yet profound breathing cycle designed to anchor your awareness directly into the present moment. This is the practice that allows you to consciously step into the pause, to inhabit the fertile emptiness that holds the key to your transformation. It is a bridge built from the very substance of your own life force, leading you from the noise of the mind to the deep, quiet sanctuary of your true consciousness. The technique itself is an elegant and powerful rhythm. Listen closely. You will begin with a gentle inhale through the nose for a count of 4, filling your belly, feeling the breath as a calm gathering of energy. Then, at the peak of the inhale, you will hold. This is the crucial step. For a count of 8, you will suspend the breath, turning your entire focus inward to the stillness. This is your entry into the void. Do not struggle. Simply rest in that full silence. Next, you will release the breath slowly through your mouth for a count of 6, a gentle exhale that lets go of tension, of thoughts, of everything you are holding. And finally, at the very end of that exhale, you will rest in the empty space for a count of 4 before the next inhale begins. This is the second pause, a moment of pure, receptive silence. This specific cycle: inhale 4, hold 8, exhale 6, empty 4, is not arbitrary. This rhythm is an ancient key, rediscovered and understood by modern science to be a direct signal of safety to your nervous system. It interrupts the frantic pattern of the ego and its constant stream of thoughts. Unlike complex meditation practices that can feel like a battle against the mind, this technique gives your mind a simple, sacred task. It focuses your awareness so completely on the physical sensation of the breath that the mental chatter naturally begins to dissolve. This is not about fighting your thoughts. It is about giving them nowhere to land. Suddenly, a tangible path appears where before there was only a desperate wish for peace. This simple, repeatable practice feels like a lifeline, a tool you can use anytime, anywhere, to sever your connection to anxiety and reconnect to your inner presence. The promise of awakening is no longer an abstract concept. It is a physiological process you can initiate with a single, conscious cycle of breath. The anticipation builds within you, not as a nervous energy, but as a deep, resonant pull, a desire to begin the ritual and experience for yourself the profound silence that has been waiting for you all along. And now the journey begins. Find a quiet space. Sit comfortably, with your spine erect but not rigid, a posture of gentle dignity. Allow your hands to rest softly in your lap, and when you are ready, close your eyes. For a moment, simply be here, without expectation. The only requirement is your presence. Let the outside world fade away, leaving only the universe contained within your own skin. Let us begin the ritual. Take a slow, gentle inhale through your nose to a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel your belly expand, drawing in life. Now, hold the breath. For 8 counts, simply rest in the fullness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the gateway. Turn your attention inward to this profound stillness. Then, a slow, controlled exhale through your mouth for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A complete release, letting go of everything. At the bottom of the breath, rest in the emptiness for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fertile void. Let's continue this sacred cycle. Inhale for 4, a calm gathering of energy. Hold for 8, inhabiting the silent pause where the ego has no foothold. Exhale for 6, a gentle surrender of tension and thought. Rest in the empty space for 4, a moment of pure receptive awareness. As you repeat this rhythm, notice what is happening. The frantic pace of your mind, the constant chatter that drives you, has nothing to cling to. It begins to slow, losing its momentum in the vast silence of the hold, dissolving completely in the quiet of the final pause. Then you feel it. It is not something you create, but something that arises from the stillness you have allowed. A wave of profound calm begins to wash over your nervous system. It starts deep within your core and spreads outward, a tangible sensation of peace that quiets the very cells of your body. This is the direct evidence of your own power. In this simple, conscious breathing technique, you have interrupted the ancient pattern of anxiety. You have stepped out of the stream of frantic thought and into the silent, present moment. You have found the source. With each new cycle, the silence deepens. The constant barrage of thoughts, the inner monologue that has defined your waking life, begins to lose its authority. The noise has not been violently silenced. It has simply been starved of the frantic breath that fueled it. In the stillness of the pause, you discover a sanctuary. For those few seconds, you are untouched by worry, regret, or anticipation. The weight of your daily identity, the endless lists of tasks and obligations, dissolves into the empty space. This is a profound refuge, a safe harbor you can return to with every single breath. This experience is not a placebo. It is a biological event. As you consciously engage this breathing technique, you are sending a direct command to your nervous system, a signal of profound safety that interrupts the cycle of stress. This is what neuroscientists call coherence, a state where your heart rhythms, brain waves, and respiratory system synchronize, creating a cascade of restorative chemistry throughout your body. You are not just imagining peace. You are actively creating the physiological conditions for it. Your mind and body, so often at odds, are beginning to operate in perfect harmony. The quiet that settles within you is like the surface of a perfectly still lake. For the first time, you can see a clear reflection. What you are witnessing is not a new self you have constructed, but the true state of your consciousness, revealed now that the turbulence of thought has subsided. This deep, unwavering presence has always been here, hidden beneath the agitated surface of the ego. The peace you feel is the recognition of your own essential nature. A powerful realization dawns, shifting from an intellectual concept into a felt truth. This profound state of clarity and calm is not a distant reward for years of arduous meditation. It is here, now accessible in the space of a single, conscious breath. The key to your own freedom has been with you all along, an intimate part of your own being. A deep, authentic desire ignites within you, not just to visit this inner sanctuary, but to learn to live from this place of centered presence. The technique is no longer an exercise. It has become the path back to yourself. But this profound calm is not the destination. It is merely the first glimpse of a new world. The true promise of this technique unfolds not in a single session, but through the patient rhythm of daily practice. This is not about seeking a temporary escape from the noise of your mind. This is about fundamentally reshaping your entire consciousness. With each deliberate cycle of breath, you are forging a new neural pathway, creating a deep groove of presence that bypasses the old, worn-out roads of ego and reaction. You are not simply managing your thoughts. You are changing the very ground from which they arise. The ancient masters understood this gradual alchemy. They taught that the ego, with its constant chatter and fear, is like a thick layer of dust covering a flawless mirror. This practice is the act of gently, consistently wiping that dust away. The goal is not to destroy the ego, but to see beyond it, to reveal the pristine consciousness, your true self, that has always been present beneath the surface. This is the awakening they spoke of. Not a sudden, explosive event, but a slow, steady dawning of your own inner light. It is a patient remembering of who you are behind the identity you have constructed. This transformation changes how you meet the world. Life's challenges will still appear, but they will no longer have the same power to overwhelm you. The space you cultivate in the hold and the pause becomes a space you carry within you. In that internal gap, you find the freedom to choose your response, rather than being pulled into an automatic reaction. Instead of being a leaf tossed in the winds of circumstance, you become the calm, centered eye of the storm. Imagine a life where the heavy burden of constant mental analysis simply dissolves, replaced by a quiet, intuitive clarity. See yourself moving through your days, not with frantic anxiety, but with a deep, unshakable foundation of peace. This is the potential held within this simple breath. This is the life that is calling to you from the other side of your commitment. The desire to experience this peace deepens into a firm resolve, transforming this technique from an occasional exercise into a sacred, non-negotiable habit, the most important conversation you will have all day. This inner sanctuary is your birthright, but the true test of this awakening is not how deep you can go in solitude, but how much of that silence you can carry with you into the noise of your life. The world will not pause for your practice. Deadlines will loom, conversations will become difficult, and unexpected challenges will arise. The ego thrives in this chaos, pulling you back into familiar patterns of reaction and anxiety. The great spiritual illusion is the belief that transformation requires a retreat from the world. The profound truth is that your life, exactly as it is the perfect ground for your awakening. The ritual of the void is not meant to be confined to a quiet cushion. It is a portable anchor, a secret you can deploy in the midst of any storm. Learn to weave this sacred cycle into the fabric of your day. The moment you feel the familiar tightening in your chest before a tense meeting, that is your cue. Instead of being swept away by the rising tide of stress, take a single, conscious breath. A silent inhale for 4. A deliberate hold for 8, creating a pocket of stillness where clarity can emerge. A slow exhale for 6, releasing the reactive impulse. A final pause for 4, resting in the empty space before you act. This is how the practice moves from a technique into a way of being. Before you make a critical decision, find the pause. Before you respond in anger, find the pause. While waiting in a line, stuck in traffic, or feeling the weight of overwhelm, you can secretly and silently return to the source. No one needs to know you are doing it. This is your private conversation with presence, a moment where you choose your own consciousness over the chaos of circumstance. The power in this realization is immense. You are not a fragile vessel of peace that can be shattered by the outside world. You are the source of that peace. It is always with you, encoded in the rhythm of your own life force. The profound silence you touched in your meditation is not a distant place you must journey to. It is an ever-present reality, waiting just behind the screen of your thoughts. The breath is your constant, unwavering tether to this truth, a tool that can restore your clarity and ground your presence in any moment, anywhere. You are never without your sanctuary. This sanctuary is more than just a place of refuge. It is the workshop of your own consciousness. Within the silence of each pause, a profound opportunity for reprogramming unfolds. The old patterns of stress and reactivity are etched into your mind like deep grooves on a well-worn path. Every time a trigger appears, your thoughts race down these familiar channels automatically. But the hold, that momentary suspension of breath in thought, is a deliberate interruption. It is a sacred moment where you lift the needle from the record, stopping the old, tired song of anxiety from playing. In that silence, you are not erasing the old patterns by force. You are simply creating a space where they are no longer the only option. By resting in this fertile void, you allow new possibilities to emerge. This is the essence of what the ancient masters taught. They understood the breath not just as a life-sustaining function, but as a divine tool to touch the pure, unconditioned field of consciousness that exists before the ego constructs its stories. Each conscious pause is a return to this source code, a moment where you can observe your reactive impulses without being defined by them. You are stepping out of the program and becoming the programmer. The process is a gentle alchemy, gradual and requiring your patient consistency. Each cycle of this breath is a single deliberate choice to build a new pathway in your mind, a pathway of presence that leads away from the worn-out roads of fear. This is how your very identity begins to shift. You start to see that you are not the storm of your thoughts, but the vast, quiet sky in which they appear and disappear. The transformation is not an event, but an unfolding. With every conscious pause you take, whether on your cushion or in the middle of a chaotic day, you are laying another stone on the foundation of a new self. The realization lands with quiet, undeniable power. This is not merely an exercise to feel calm. This is the sacred work of becoming who you truly are. A deep, unwavering commitment rises within you, a resolve to walk this path, breath by breath, until the silence you visit becomes the home from which you live. As your commitment to this path deepens, it is natural to seek a foundation of trust. Know that the ritual of the void is not a fragile hope. It is a bridge to your inner world built upon two pillars of unshakable truth, the precision of modern science and the depth of timeless wisdom. This is not a practice born of myth, but a technology of consciousness, verified from both the outside in and the inside out. Neuroscience can now map the miracle you have already felt. When you consciously slow your exhale and inhabit the pause, you are engaging in a direct dialogue with your own biology. This specific rhythm sends a powerful signal through the vagus nerve, the great communicating channel between your brain and body. It is a direct command to shift out of the anxious, fight or flight state and into the parasympathetic mode of rest and digest. Stress hormones like cortisol recede. Your heart rate variability increases, a key indicator of resilience and health. Every cycle of this sacred breath is a measurable chemical, an electrical event that literally rewires your brain for peace, calming the storm of anxiety at its biological source. Long before this could be measured, the ancient masters understood this truth through direct experience. They saw the breath not as mere air, but as prana, the universal life force. For them, the conscious manipulation of the breath was the key to manipulating consciousness itself. They recognized the pause as the sacred interval where the thinking mind is suspended, allowing a direct perception of reality, unclouded by the ego. This technique was their most guarded secret, a method for moving beyond the illusion of a separate self to experience the vast, silent awareness that is your true nature. So you stand now on solid ground. Your practice is validated by the rigorous inquiry of the modern laboratory and consecrated by the deep knowing of the ancient sanctuary. This is not a matter of belief, but of experience, backed by repeatable results. A profound confidence begins to settle within you. The path forward is clear, reliable, and true. With every inhale, hold, and exhale, you are walking a sacred road, one that honors both the intricate design of your nervous system and the infinite depth of your soul. This unwavering ground of truth is not something you must leave behind when you rise from your meditation. It is a portable sanctuary, an internal refuge you carry within the very rhythm of your own breath. The pause is not just a moment in a breathing cycle. It is your constant and immediate access to this source of strength. Whenever the storms of the mind gather, whenever the clouds of anxiety or anger roll in, you have a place to return. This empty space is a solvent for mental clutter, a silent void where the frantic stories of the ego simply dissolve, reconnecting you to the vast, quiet field of your true consciousness. A great teacher once offered a simple truth: you are the sky. Everything else is just the weather. Your thoughts, your emotions, your fleeting worries and urgent demands, they are the passing clouds, the sudden rain, the turbulent winds. For your entire life, you have mistaken yourself for this weather, believing you are the storm, tossed and turned by every shift in the internal climate. This breathing practice, this deliberate return to the pause, is your way of remembering your true nature. It is how you learn to touch the unchanging sky within. In that moment of held breath, the weather of the mind is suspended, and you can feel, for the first time, the boundless, clear expanse that you truly are. This sky is your consciousness, pristine and unaffected. This realization is the seed of a profound and lasting transformation. The power to shift your state of being is not located in some future achievement or external circumstance. It is here now, in the choice to take a single conscious breath. This is not a passive hope. It is an active capacity. In any moment of overwhelm, you can choose to interrupt the cycle of reaction. You can find the pause and remember the sky. This is the ultimate freedom, not the absence of life's storms, but the unshakable knowledge that you are the silent, spacious awareness in which they all unfold. A wave of empowerment rises from deep within, a quiet, soaring clarity. The path is no longer a discipline to be endured, but a gift to be opened, breath by breath, renewing your purpose with every conscious return to the silence. So this is the great secret. revealed not in an ancient scroll, but in the simple overlooked rhythm of your own body. Within the cycle of your breath, between the gathering inhale and the releasing exhale, lies a sacred pause, a silent, empty space that holds the entire potential for your transformation. This is not a distant goal to be achieved through years of struggle, but a present moment reality to be inhabited with a single conscious choice. It is your immediate portal to the quiet sanctuary of your true consciousness, a potent tool capable of dissolving the endless noise of the ego and awakening the deep, unwavering presence that you are. This simple act, celebrated by the ancient masters as the gateway to the divine, and now verified by modern science as the key to a balanced nervous system, is the most direct path back to yourself. It is the fundamental shift from a life of frantic reaction to one of conscious, centered calm. The great teacher Eckhart Tolle offered a timeless insight that illuminates this entire path. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. This technique, this deliberate return to the pause, is the physical embodiment of that profound wisdom. It is how you stop living in the ghostly memories of the past or the anxious projections of the future, and finally arrive fully in the vibrant, living reality of the now. In the silence of the hold, the mind's addiction to time is broken. Let this understanding settle deep within you, moving from a fleeting concept in your mind to a felt truth in the very cells of your body. Carry this newfound strength forward from this moment. Let the gentle desire for peace ignite into an unshakable resolve to make this practice the foundation of your new life, returning to the silent source breath by breath, moment by moment. If this truth has resonated within you, take a moment to acknowledge that connection by liking this content. To continue walking this path together, subscribe and turn on your notifications, ensuring you remain connected to this stream of awareness. Your personal experience is a vital part of this collective awakening. Share your reflections in the comments below. What did you feel in the sacred silence? How has this simple practice touched your consciousness? Your insight is a gift, perhaps the very thing another seeker needs to hear today to deepen their own practice. This journey does not end here. It is an ever-unfolding discovery. When you are ready to explore further, click the video now appearing on your screen. Continue the sacred work of remembering who you truly are.